good morning.
Yes,
Very good morning, sir.
Morning,
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Yeah,
morning, sir.
can we start now? Yes, we are.
Namaskar, Avnl Deshpande.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Good morning, sir.
So, good morning once again. We will request all the other participants to mute their mic and remain in the mute mode till they are requested to speak. And I will request now Mr. Rajesh Kumar to start. Please start.
Good morning and namaskar to all. Myself Rajesh Kumar, General Manager Operations in Armored Vehicle Nigam Limited, Avnl. Now, in this webinar, we all know that our country is progressing at much faster pace in general and in defense production in particular. Although Indian defense manufacturers are making various defense platforms, equipments, and items for the use of our armed forces, we are still making imports of many aggregates, components, and raw materials which are used in manufacturing and assembly of these end products. There is a need to make these line replacement units, LRU, and equipments indigenously. This will not only reduce the cost, price, and delivery time, but also reduce the dependency on foreign original equipment manufacturers and save foreign exchange. This has become much more necessary to continue the supply line to our armed forces in current geopolitical situation in the world. Government of India has started facilitating the industries and R&D activities through funding and policy interventions in a big way. This has now got a major push under Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. With this, we have provisions of Make 1, Make 2, IDEX, DISC, and others through which end users, DPSUs, major private defense manufacturers, MSMEs, R&D setups, and startups has joined hands for major push towards making our motherland Atmanirbhar. Equal opportunities to all and transparency in the entire process are being ensured by Government of India and DPSUs. To deliberate the moves we have made towards this advance and to decide the way forward, this webinar has been organized jointly by two DPSUs. One is Avnl, Armored Vehicle Nigam Limited, Avani, which is a manufacturer of tanks, infantry combat vehicles, mine and bullet protected vehicles, army logistic vehicles, and second PSU, BEML, Bharat Earthmover Limited, which serves the country in the sectors like defense, rail, power, mining, and others. Senior officers of DDP are here to guide us regarding major policy interventions. I welcome GSDIP Sri Anurag Basu for this. In this webinar, representatives of large private sector manufacturers, MSMEs, and industry associations like FICCI and SIDM, Society of Indian Defense Manufacturers, are participating. I welcome them also. We have officers from top management of Avnl, Sri Sanjay Dwivedi, Director of Operation, and Sri V. Shekhar, Chief General Manager R&D, BML. They will be guiding us. I also welcome them. We have officers from R&D and Indigenisation activities from the units of the Avnl and BML, Sri Sanjeev Bhola, GM, SBF, and Sri Anurag Sharma, GM, Ordnance Factory Medak, and also from BML, Sri T.N. Srinivasan, DGM, VDS, BML, and Sri Shiv Kumar Viappa, DGM R&D. They will be giving the detail through presentation how we are facilitating for indigenization of various LRUs. So I also welcome them. With this, now I request GSDIP Sri Anurag Basu for his keynote address. Now over to sir. Sir,
I think your mic is muted, sir.
Yes. Very good morning to all. It's really nice to see about 92 industries who are participating in this webinar. I have expected this to cross at least 100 number, because in previous webinars we have seen the participation by about 160, 170 industries. I believe that during the course of the webinar, the number of participation would increase. As you all know, that Government of India is committed to industrial growth of the country. Industrial growth means, yes, economic growth as well as employment. Simultaneously, the focus is on saving the foreign exchange, because these all contribute to our GDP. In addition to it, the focus is on exports. We all know that the defense sector, the Government of India has targeted to reach the figure of 1,75,000 crores value of production by the year 2024-25, and exports figure by to the level of 35,000 crore by 2024-25. At present, we are somewhere at midway. So there is a need of major efforts to be taken up during these coming 2 years to reach to the level. I am really happy to see the figures of value of production this year. This has increased. Over last 5 years, we are increasing, but this year, yes, we have tried to reach to the level of about 1 lakh crore, and that is tremendous. Our DPSUs and the private industries both have done very well. All the industries, even the public sectors who are engaged, other public sectors who are also engaged in defense production, like Bharat Heavy Electricals and other industries are there, who are also contributing to this defense sector and the value of production. So we have almost reached to the level of 1 lakh crore, but yes, we have to reach to 1,75,000 crore by the year 2024-25. This all cannot be achieved if we continue to remain dependent on the imports. Because once we import everything, certainly we are losing our resources, our foreign exchange, and our economy does not become strong. That is why there is a focus on indigenization. Indigenization efforts have been intensified by Government of India, particularly during post-COVID period, because that was necessary. And during the emerging global order in the last few months, it has actually strengthened our perception that yes, we need our technology, our equipments, our defense platforms to meet the challenges whenever they are in they are in scene. So the indigenization is the need of hour for the country today. And we have that capacity, we have that capability to go for that. Our industries are well equipped, we have knowledge base, and we have technology. So we are capable, and we can do that. And that is why our Honorable Prime Minister has trusted our industry and asked them to go for indigenization. They know that our industry can do it. To facilitate the process, and to give a surety to the industry. 3 positive indigenization list containing 310 major platforms and weapon systems have been notified by Department of Military Affairs, where a date has also been indicated against each item, which puts an embargo on their import. Similarly, we know that Department of Defense Production has also notified 2 positive indigenization lists. First containing 2,851 items, and the second one containing 107 line replaceable units, that is LRUs and subsystems for indigenization. In addition to it, Government of India has also announced 18 major platforms for indigenization. Now it is for the industry to take up the challenge. When I say industry, it means all public sectors and private industry. I am not distinguishing between the public sector or private sector. It is all industry, all defense industries who are established in India. To give an assurance to the industry that yes, whatever they manufacture that will be procured, Government of India has also allocated 68% of its budget, capital procurement budget, for defense procurement, for domestic defense procurement. 1,500 crore have been allocated for procurement from startups to give a push to the innovation ecosystem through IDEX. Moreover, 25% of R&D budget has been allocated for industry-led R&D activities. So the government has taken up policy measures, budgetary reforms to give a push to our industry, defense industry. Now it is for the industry to take up the challenge. And challenge does not only mean that it is only manufacturing after taking technology from other countries. No, it is not that. It is our design, our development and manufacturing. That is why the focus is on R&D as well. Because unless we have our design, we cannot be called indigenized in true sense. In addition to it, the challenge is also for the industry to meet the international norms and quality. Because your competitors are not from within India, your competitors in the international market who are well established from Russia, US, UK. So if you want to penetrate into the international market, certainly we have to come above them. Then only the other countries will look forward for your products. Otherwise, there are established companies in the international market. And this is the right time when the conflict between the two countries is going on, and India being a very prominently placed in the global order, it is the right time for us to penetrate into the global market. But that can happen only with our design, our product having international standards and quality. So I believe that our industry is capable of taking those challenges and meet the international standards. With these words, I'll close my remarks and I wish this webinar all success, and I'm sure that many new recommendations, many good recommendations would come forward, and Avnl will take care of those recommendations. Thank you very much.
Just now we have heard from Joint Secretary DIP regarding Government of India interventions in the form of budgetary provisions, that is especially for domestic allocation reserved for domestic defense procurement, allocation for R&D, facilitating the startups, and the policy intervention like positive indigenization lists, and the assurance that this item will be procured indigenously after in a time frame. And with this, now it is up for us defense manufacturers in country to design, develop, and manufacture the substitutes for the imports with the international norms and the quality standards. Now, for taking these challenges, we have to now gear up. With this, I request Director of Operation Armored Vehicle Nigam Limited, Sri Sanjay Dwivedi sir, to speak.
Namaskar. Very good morning to everyone present here. Thank you, Rajesh, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank the Ministry of Defense, DDP. Under their aegis, this webinar is being held. So I would like to thank them for providing this opportunity, for providing this platform, for bringing the industry and Avnl and BML together, so that we can basically reap the benefits of whatever platforms are being given, whatever policies are being formulated by the government, that can be informed to everyone, and then we can move forward in this direction of indigenization of major LRUs, which will pave the way for making this country as Atmanirbhar Bharat. First of all, I would like to thank Shri Anurag Bajpayee, JSDIP, who has basically in his opening address set the tone for this webinar and made the job of all the other speakers who are going to speak very easy. As we were speaking, actually the number of participants have gone up to 116 now. So that is the assurance that more and more people will be joining, and they will be getting benefited from the discussions which will be held during the course of this webinar. I assure JSDIP that this information will be disseminated to all the required number of people who will be becoming partners of Avnl and BML. Just to start with, I think it will be appropriate for me to briefly give some background of Avnl, though all the details will be covered subsequently by the presenters, Mr. Sanjeev Bhola and Anurag Sharma. But I would like to brief that this Avnl was carved out from the erstwhile Ordnance Factory Board. It is one of the 7 DPSUs which have been made out of the Ordnance Factory Board. We have 5 manufacturing units which are located in different places. 2 are at Avadi. We are also as headquarters located at Avadi. One is at Medak, that is near Hyderabad. One is at Ambernath, and one is at Jabalpur. All these units are basically engaged in manufacture of tanks, armor fighting vehicles, bulletproof vehicles, mine protected vehicles, other logistic vehicles. And we also manufacture some naval decoy systems at MTP of Ambernath, and also the naval gun at Ordnance Factory Medak. But basically, primarily, we are into the land forces, and we manufacture the armored fighting vehicles. That is the main strength of Avnl. We are right now manufacturing T-72 and T-90 tanks at Ordnance Factory, at Heavy Vehicle Factory, Avadi. And the co-located factory, which is engine factory, manufactures the engines which are required for these tanks, and they also manufacture engine which is required for the for the BMP, that is Armored Personnel Carrier, being manufactured at OFMK. Now, with this brief background about the Ordnance Factory, all the Ordnance Factories which are part of Avnl and the product profile, I would like to bring to to the knowledge of all the people, all the participants who are here, that we are right now holding very strong order book of around which is sufficient for us for next 5 to 6 years, and we are looking at a growth which is to the extent of doubling our turnover in next 3 to 4 years. And as very appropriately brought out by JSDIP in his address, that we are looking at the figure of 1,75,000 crores to the level of production from entire industry and DPSUs put together. And to achieve that, and to achieve the progress what we have envisaged for Avnl, we will definitely require all the industries to join hands with all of us, so that we can chart out the path of progress, growth, and being Atmanirbhar. And when we talk about being Atmanirbhar, I'll request Mr. Shekhar, EML, to put off his mic. It's causing echo, right? So when we talk about that kind of growth and industry participation, the first thing which is very important for me to bring out is that today we are procuring to the extent of around 2,500 crores worth of material from various Indian industry. And when we grow to the level of when we are talking about doubling our production in the next 3 to 4 years, that means we are looking at procurement or support from the Indian industry to the extent of 5,000 crores. So we would like more and more Indian industries to join our hands. Now, coming to indigenization, today we are procuring to the extent of around 400 to 500 crores worth of material we are importing from abroad. So this again, when we talk about doubling our turnover in 3 to 4 years, that means it is likely to rise to 1,000 crores. So that is straight away the volume of items or components or LRUs, the line replaceable units, which are required to be indigenized on priority, so that we indigenize, not only indigenize the items, rather we move in the direction of being net exporter, because if we continue to import from abroad, even if we export to some extent, we will not become net exporter. So that is what is the first and foremost requirement, that we should aim all our efforts in the direction of becoming net exporter. When we talk about all the other things, I would like to mention that we would like all the industries to join hands. For that, we follow we will facilitate all the industry by carrying out various activities of trials which are required to be carried out for establishing or proving any component or assemblies which are being developed by the industry. So we carry out inspection, we carry out all the trials on the tanks, actual trials on the tanks. You can come and you make use of all the facilities which are available at our different premises, so that this will hasten up the process. And we assure you that whatever trials are required to be done, and on that, whatever efforts are to be made by us, it will definitely come towards you on your way. There will not be any lack of interest from our side. I would like to add one more point before we end, is that this is about not only about indigenization of the products which are being manufactured by us, rather we are taking up several new projects for developing the in-house indigenous platforms, which will be futuristic in nature. So that means for all those platforms, we are looking for industry partners who are definitely having now a lot of technological prowess and capability, which will help us in developing the platform faster and indigenously, so that we will not have to depend on import for all those equipments which are required for manufacture or development of new platforms. as very appropriately told by Shri Anurag Bajpayee in his address, that now the knowledge base is definitely available with the emerging and the emerging technologies which are there, which are required for manufacture of such products, are available with us in Indian industry. So why we should look at any other foreign country to develop the new products which are required? I am sure that the COVID, which had though dampened our progress in terms of business progress, but has not dampened our spirits, and we will definitely come out very strong, and we will be taking up all those development activities of indigenization of LRUs, as well as development of new products at much faster pace, so that we make this nation as Atmanirbhar and completely self-reliant, which will not be possible without support of all the industries, all the partners who are sitting here, and we look forward for all your support. Thank you very much. I would like to once upon call on all of you to be partner with us in the progress, and together we can change the entire course. Thank you.
Thanks, Dudi sir. We have heard regarding the order book from Avnl, the existing indigenization requirement, and the futuristic products, which will also need the indigenization efforts. So with this, we assure from Avnl assure that there is a procurement assurance to the defense manufacturers. Now, I request Sri V. Shekhar, CGM Avnl, to give.
Hello. So, good morning. So, Sri Anurag Bajpayee, Joint Secretary DIP, and Sri Sanjay Dwivedi, Director Operations Avnl, and Sri Rajesh Kumar, and here my partners, so who all participated, and my colleagues. So my previous address made by Mr. Anurag sir and Sanjay sir. So they made very elaborate, whatever you can say is a key purpose or whatever it is the importance of the indigenization to this country's self-reliance. So in this regards, actually, as a BML, so you know the BML is one of the defense public sector. So now we have reached around 4,000 crore. The 4,000 crore turnover is almost like 1/3. So we are depending on the import. So with this, whatever the thrust and we are given to that, so this whatever we are importing it so that we can able to make it indigenous. So definitely it is going to be a value addition to the country as well as for the, it will boost the self-reliance. So in this regard, so we showcase many of the items, what are we are importing it and what we are planning for futuristics in the region portal. So you are everyone one of you may be aware about the, what is the region portal, how it has been there, how the government of India is giving the thrust. So in this regard, so there the brief of the component has been provided and what is the importances and what is the key requirement also. So we used to get a lot of responses, very good responses we are getting it from the, even for the startups and MSME as well as for other reputed companies. So we are having continuous interaction with them and very much, so we are having very much interested to give handle to all the startups. So one observation, whatever is there apart from that, whatever the previous speakers told that, so everybody is very much interested to develop it or interested to develop the technologies, as we have very huge human resources as well as for, so we are having very good capacity also. In this regard, what I feel that so many people, so after seeing that component, so some kind of so misunderstanding or misconception has been happening there. So they are not able to pick up the component, right component, so for their capability, for their industry portfolio. So I suggest it for this particular form, so that so to make it more fruitful and to make it successful on that. So after seeing the component, whatever it is, you identify the LRUs, identify the components. So you please approach us and we will have start with VC meeting if required. So we will have physical meeting also. With that, we can able to show all our whatever technical informations and drawings are available and what type of quality requirements, what type of functional requirements, how we can able to jointly evaluate, because the main issue we are facing it after developing it. So because the vendors also is going to invest it lot and lot, and after that, how we are going to evaluate jointly, how you are going to make it successfully. Once we make it successful, so this aggregate, whatever we are going to buy it, it is going to be on long-term basis only, and it's not like, so that it's going to be long-term benefit for both of us. So in this regard, so I request every one of you, so you can able to select and pick up the aggregates, and we can approach us and tell us, so when we can have suitable VC meeting or physical meeting, and we will arrive jointly the whatever is a functional requirement on this aspect. So further to this, I thank, because already so this particular webinar is mainly focused on the futuristic, where especially we want to make it defense product as a self-reliant. In this regard, so BML is taken as a major ARV, LRU development for the armored recovery vehicle, and one more platform is there for the heavy mobility vehicle. So both are there. So we are giving very much high thrust on that, and already a lot of responses come. So BML has floated the UI maybe one month back, and a lot of companies has floated on that. So now also people, after seeing that season, it is available in season portal, they can able to approach us. We can able to jointly, we can able to arrive it. So what is the capability? In fact, our team is interested to visit your factory and your capabilities, where what we can do it, not only on focus on this particular LRV, we can able to use it for other verticals, because BML is having the 3 verticals. One is on defense and aerospace, next one is mining and construction, another one is railway. So we will able to locate or we'll identify the partners not only to the defense platform, so defense verticals, we can able to explore it from other vertical also. So you can also select the parts. So in totally, actually, country should be Atmanirbhar, need not be particular to one particular business verticals. So we are open. So after seeing that, so people can, I request every one of you to voluntarily to come out, so that we can able to jointly able to achieve the Atmanirbhar. So in this regard, I thank all the organizations to give this opportunity to showcase this particular BML product. So our team is there for you. So subsequently, they will make presentation on that. So please interact it. So we are available for complete interactive session, and whatever questions you wanted, so you can able to feel free to ask, so that we can able to clarify. And subsequent to that, we can also have the meeting. So thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Sanjeev Bhola, GM HBF, and from now on, I take over the presentation session. Before that, I thank my previous speakers, the higher management of Avnl and the higher management of BML for mentoring us and telling the industry the importance of this webinar. I'm still sure that few of the industry participants will still be questioning or thinking what exactly LRU is. So to start with, LRU stands for line replaceable units. These are the sub-assemblies in itself. So with this small background of the product that we are talking about, at the outset, let me once again welcome the diaspora of industries and their federations who are present in this webinar from across length and breadth of the country. It's a great pleasure to present to the very dynamic industry who have geared up for the clarion call of Government of India to make India self-reliant in defense protection. At Avnl, we feel proud to lead an organization which is a driver to various small and large private industries to meet Indian Defense Forces requirement of armored fighting vehicles. I will now load my presentation.
Now, we are 20 minutes behind the schedule, so I request all the presenters to be brief, but with this focus also.
Sure.
Please go ahead.
So, all can see the presentation? Hello.
Yes, yes, we are able to see. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
yes, sir.
So the brief of the scheme of presentation is like as presented here. So I will start with a small brief of Avnl, which Director Operations have already told. The Armored Vehicle Nigam Limited is one of the one of the 7 recently incorporated defense public sectors, and they started functioning in on 1st of October. Armored Avnl is basically HVF in Avnl, HVF and OF Medal are basically the flagship companies where we are making BMPs and T-72 and T-90 series of tank. And VFJ, we are manufacturing basically mine protected vehicles and other military vehicles. In one of the factories has already brought out in EFA, we are manufacturing all type of engines for armored fighting vehicles, and MPF is specialized in manufacturing gearboxes and other sub-assemblies for tanks and gun assemblies. So next, at HVA we are basically manufacturing trolls, bridge link tanks, T-90 tanks, T-72 tanks. T-90 overrunning has also started, and so the requirement of LRUs have drastically increased. Next. So at Avnl, we are now seeking industry partnership not only in the existing range of products like T series of tank, and also the recently got order on MBT Arjun Mark 1 Alpha, but also looking for the futuristic products. And we are open to partnership for projects like FICV, future armored tanks, lightweight tanks, and high mobility vehicles. In spite of achieving 97% of indigenization in most of the tanks, we are still looking for 100% indigenization solutions. However, the challenges due to non-availability of TOT from FOEMs have slowed down the indigenization efforts. However, this has not deterred us in our efforts to further indigenize, and for the same, I invite the Indian defense industries to get associated with the Avnl. Other challenges like low volume are there, but however, because of high spares, high requirement of spares opportunities during overall and direct army requirements, there is an enormous potential and high requirements, quantity requirements which industry can tap. I feel that the break-even of development costs are observed, which are observed by our developers, are set aside by these spares requirements. The sub-assemblies for AFDs have to be rugged and meeting military grade standards. This requires stringent testing and multiple agency evaluations. The process may be slow but rewarding to the Indian industry as they contribute towards achieving the Atmanirbhar Bharat objective of the Government of India. Not all components and sub-assemblies can be built in-house due to quantum of demand and product expansion at Avnl. So we are confident of the capacities and capabilities available with Indian industry, private industry, and we look forward for MSMEs and other private industries for the same. We are here to give a technical assistance for establishing products in private industry. Today, I will present the glimpse of the sub-assemblies which are offered to the industries to come forward and take this opportunity to get associated with Avnl. Also, I will brief the participants of the procurement routes and procedures, including the contact details of the nodal officers, so which will make the industry who are present here to be associated with us. For the convenience of all, the details of these components are also available on Srijan portal of DDP, Ministry of Defense. Accordingly, Avnl invites you to join hands in cooperation. So what we see the road ahead is a collaboration route of R&D with the Indian industry to build a very strong partnership with the Indian industry. Although we have already 1,300 vendors registered with us, but we are looking forward for more Indian industries, technically competent industries to get associated with us. The major type of components that we are looking at as LRUs are the electrical and electronic subassemblies, mechanical subassemblies, even few raw materials which have still not been indigenized. We have the specifications, but the industry has to come forward to undertake the manufacturing of those special raw materials, which are basically Russian specifications. We are also looking for castings and forgings and investment castings from the Indian defense industry. For LRUs, basically it's a three-stage process. First, we expect that the industry will design, develop based on the drawings available or the gray areas which they develop and do a detailed in-house manufacturing. After undertaking the prototyping, we expect that these industries will undertake the in-house testing, and where HVF will be handholding them for understanding the specifications, inform them the testing procedures, and once they are very confident, then we will take these LRUs for further evaluation with the other AHSPs. Like it may even include doing the user trials along with other AHSPs and users. So now I will just present few of the components which are already available on Srijan portal. We look forward a lot of sensors, like in tanks, there are sensors, optical sensing units. So still, because these sensors are still imported and cased in rugged systems, so I am looking for industries to come forward and indigenize these components, these optical sensing units. Now, these optical sensing units have a shelf life. So there is a perennial requirement of this, not only for the initial development phase or even during the product life cycle, it has to be replaced because it has generally a shelf life of around 10 years. So you can understand the quantum of orders if someone is able to develop these type of sensors. There is a clear visibility. These are required in new equipments as well as during overhauls. Then, similar to sensors, there are gyroscopes which are still imported from abroad. We are looking for Indian companies who can manufacture these gyro compasses, which can be indigenized. We can give them specifications, they can work on it. The technical documentation is available with us. We can share with them if the industries are interested to come forward and take this component. Similar to gyro, there are gyro drift indicators, which is the indicating part of the display part of the gyro, and these are also available. Right now, we are all dependent on import, and with the present conditions, the need of indigenization has increased a lot. Within tank, it's a complex system. Other than the power engines, which is manufactured at EFA, we are looking for preheaters from the Indian defense industry, which is a complex and a complete system. So industries who are interested into having an experience of radiators or having an experience of heat exchangers can surely take these type of products for development. This is another type of preheater for T72 which can be taken. Then there are some small arms component also, small arm equipments like 7.62 mmg. Although we are trying to get it developed by the DPSU, recently from DPSU, but it is also available in Srijan portal if the private industry wants to come in and get it further developed. The cooling system of the tank is a very important component. This is where the performance of the engine depends. So we are looking for the private industry, although few industries are presently working on this, and if more industries want to work on the cooling system, they can come forward, we can get associated with us, we can handle the industry so that they can develop these cooling systems. Now, in tanks, there is another subsystem that is very important and which is right till now dependent on import, is the NBC, Nuclear, Biological and Chemical Identification System. Now, these are very critical systems, very technically complex systems. The testing also is very critical, and this requires not only interaction, manufacturing of the prototype, but testing of these systems with the agents, special nuclear, biological, and chemical agents, for which there are only few labs. Like in India, we have DRD and DL Jodhpur. So the firms have to tie up with them. Few of the sensors of this system are already indigenized by DRDO, and the TOT is available. But putting those sensors and putting it as a system and offering to us as a LRU is a big challenge. And so industries who are interested to undertake this project can look forward for these type of systems. These systems are not unique to only one product. By just changing the casing, the same NBC system is also used for T-72, T-90, Arjun, and even the futuristic tanks will be requiring these type of systems. So persons who want to take this as a vertical, as a prime product, are welcome to work on this NBC systems. In addition to those type of the systems that I have just elaborated, there are a lot of electrical systems, electronic systems like relay regulators and other systems which are very critical to tank. So persons who have an electronic background, companies who work on rugged military grade electronics can think of sub-assemblies like relay regulators in tanks. Similarly, the ventilation system, which has still been indigenized, is another important component in tanks. Basically, ventilation system helps in having a pure air at the time of biological and biological attacks, or when smoke is outside. So this is a very important survival mechanism which is available on tanks, and it requires special filter designing and pumps and other things. So firms who are into filters, air filtration system, EPU systems, they can work on these components and approaches. These sub-assemblies are already, the details are already posted on Srijan portal, and they can take up initial details. If interested, can contact us. All the tank guns, as against the other artillery guns and small guns, the most important component is a gun stabilization system, which stabilizes the firing gun. So these gun stabilizer system is mainly imported, although it is for past is being manufactured in India with one of the DPHOs, but even they are feeling difficulty in getting the modules from abroad. So persons who have a passion for indigenization of these type of subsystems, there is a huge potential for components of gun stabilizer system. Similarly, the automatic control units of tank is another electronic system, a rugged military grade electronic system, which can be taught by those who are into electronic manufacturing. For electrical companies, the starter generator is a very critical military grade generator, which is operated at 100 kilowatt watt motor, which runs at around 3500 to 5750 RPM and is used in T-72. These are the challenging components. Appears to be a simple in principle, but has to be ruggedized and has to undergo all the military performance parameters. Another part is one of the LRUs that we are offering to industry to develop is the automatic loading gear modules. Now, till now, we had these modules are either directly imported or the subsystems of these modules are imported. So it's time for Indian industry to be a self-reliant to get these items developed within India. So I call upon all the industries present here and to propagate development of these subsystems in India. Similarly, there are other electronic systems like engine alarming signal units. Then there are optical systems like both side devices. which can be developed by industries who are into optical domain or into lens manufacturing and other things. They can think of these type of system as a growth potential for entering into defense. The other part, which is an electromechanical device, is a BH elevation drive for the guns. Now, these are the automation. Whenever we talk of the manual laid guns, these are the devices which use to automate the laying using an electronic system. So, companies who are interested into automation, the all-electric drives and things like that, they can think of these type of systems. And coincidentally, this is still in the, we had already placed some source development tenders in the open market or open platform. So they can approach, they can respond to those tenders for developing these systems. Similarly, there are set clearing internal space from dust. These are the systems that we are till now dependent on import, and we want to develop it inside within India. Then there are some simple mechanical systems like link loading machining assembly, which is used to put these small bullets into links, which are used for automatic guns. So companies who are interested, they can think of this system. We have technology drawings with this. They can take and start manufacturing this. Another item that is very critical to tank production is a firefighting system. So although few of the components have already been developed in India, but as a system, we are looking for a digital firefighting system, which will be fully integrated. And as soon as the alarm, fire takes place, the alarm is sound, and the fire extinguisher takes place through these systems. Now, after showing you the type of LRUs that are available for Indian industry to develop, design, now I will brief you upon the procurement process that we follow. Now, if we see, the first and foremost is that we being a government agency, so what we do is we place tenders through a limited tender inquiry, or if it is we want to increase our vendor base, we place SDOT, source development tender inquiries. The LT process is followed when we have a sufficient vendor base, like 2 or 3 vendors, and we process SDOTs when we want more vendors to be associated. And the SDOTs is a right place if more and more vendors want to join for already established components, where we have technology documents and they have to manufacture as per the TOT documents. We consider an established vendor if they have already successfully supplied a sufficient 60% quantity against a development order. In addition to that, we have to facilitate the other vendors. We have a central registration system, and no ex-ante capacity verification is required. That is, whenever they feel, where we give annually, we project the items for which we are looking for vendors. So they can apply for the registration based on those requirements, and we will process it based on the documents presented by them. So for these, all the vendors, I would request, please visit the Directorate of Ordnance and Services website. There is an ease of doing business column in which all the vendors have to be registered. The vendor registration process can be seen at the website ddpdoo.gov.in. Vendors get enrolled themselves on this portal. Applications can be submitted online. Units are the Avnl units scrutinize the applications and carry out the vendor registration procedures. And the foremost important aspect for all the vendors is to get them registered on GEM portal, because it is becoming mandatory. You can click on to the top right corner of this portal, fill in the details, and after filling the details, the activation email is sent to the vendors. It requires simple documentation like PAN, SIN, key personals validation, income tax returns, registered office address, billing address, factories to get you GEM portal enrolled. At last, for all, they can take note, there are list of contact officers at HBF who are dealing with this development of the items and in the process of procurement. So I would request, please take note of this, and the industry can get benefit. Direct inputs can be taken from these contact officers. With this, I would only welcome the industry and request them, let's begin a journey towards a more Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, these were the products that I had displayed what HVF is looking at. Similarly, a second flagship company of Avnl is Ordnance Factory Madar. And I would request Mr. Anurag Sharma, GM at OF Madar, to brief upon the subsystems and LRUs which are ready to be offered to Indian defense industry for development. Over to Mr. Sharma, please.
Now, to speakers, subsequent speakers, since we are already behind the schedule, so I request that what are the points which are already been covered, that can be skipped, and the point exclusively for the MEDAC, that can be put up. Now, Mr.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anurag Sharma, General Manager, Ordnance Factory Medak. Aligning to the policies of Government of India and Modi, Ordnance Factory Medak is equally committed to Indianize all its LRUs of foreign origin. And in this regard, out of 13 items listed on the Sajan portal, OFMK has already Indianized 5 LRUs with in-house efforts and 1 LRU with the help of Indian industry, reinforcing the common mission of the nation, that is self-reliance. Listed LRUs in the Sajan portal are basically pertains to BMP, which is one of the most time-honored and trusted platform that Army has in its store. And having more than 2,500 BMPs in the country and its global presence across the globe, BMP2 and its LRUs offer a great business opportunities to the industry in terms of meeting the indigenous requirement as well as the export overseas. Since the formal procurement process has already been covered by Mr. Bhola, I will straight away go to the LRUs. The first item is the spring assembly, which is the part of the suspension system. It looks very simple, but we have been trying for the last 20 years to organize this. For this, we have already placed the developmental order on one of the firm at Haryana, and the yearly requirement will be around 500 numbers, and the year of likely ignition is the next year. Next assembly is basically optical quadrant. This is not a part of the platform. It goes along with the BMP in order to validate the sight and gun assembly. This is the pictorial representation of the sub-assembly. And for this also, we have already placed the indent on a local industry partner for the development. And yearly requirement will be 160 numbers. However, the value that goes into importing of this subsystem is 2.89 to the tune of 3 crores rupees. Next. Now, this item TDP, as I mentioned, we have already indianized 5 LRUs with in-house effort and 1 with the help of industry. This is the item which has been already indianized with the help of Indian industry, that HMI Gwalior. Next. Now, next sub-assembly is almost common to the what has been displayed by the Mr. Bhola with regard to the main battle tank. This is an air ventilation system which gives you the basically a clean air to the crew which is sitting inside the vehicle when there is a nuclear biological attack outside. And for this also, this yearly quantity will be around 120 sets, and the value of import that we are basically leveraging our these foreign exchanges to the tune of 8 crores every per annum. And for this also, service development has already been placed on the Messrs. Calvin, Hyderabad, and likely year of indication is 2024. Now, these first 4 items, what I have discussed, it is related to the first positive indication list. In the second positive indication list, we have 2 items. One is metallic system emission bed. It looks simple. For this also, we have been trying for the last 20 years to indianize, but still this is an imported item. And we spend to the tune of almost 2 crores every year indianizing this particular sub-assembly. For this also, we have already placed the formal supply order on the DND Enterprise Nagpur for indication, and likely a year of indication is 2025. Now, the last item, which is common to the SPF again, this is the gyro drift indicator GPK59, which is common to the BMP as well as the main metal tank. And we are spending almost to the tune of 1.1 crores rupees every year importing this item. And since this item being common to the HBF as well as the OFMK, the yearly requirement it will be around 200 numbers. For this, development orders have already been placed on the Tricol Engineering Coimbatore, and they are developing, and we are hopeful that by this month or next month end, we will be getting this item developed in our indigenously. So these are the effort that OFMK has made in the recent past. We have already indianized 1 item under the from the first PIL list. And the most important part is that OFMK is organizing an exhibition on 24th of this month for all its items to be indianized. And we have already informed all the vendors that you please do visit us and physically see the item, and any clarification which is required that can be given then and there. And we will be ready with all the documents and what are the process sheet and process layout available with us. Everything will be shared with the industry. And we are, I personally believe that there are 2 important aspects that we have to look into if we really want to analyze this issue. One is constructive cooperation. That means the cooperation has to be from the both ends. And second most important thing is disruptive innovation. Why this disruptive innovation? Because I do not have any doubt regarding the manufacturing capability of our industry. But as far as the raw material is concerned, we are still depending on the foreign OEM. So disruptive innovation, that means we need to identify the equivalent raw material which has to go into manufacturing of the assembly and finally, eventually meeting the end requirement. Next. So this is all from the orders factory made up. And now I will request Mr. T.N. Srinivasan from BML to take this webinar forward. Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for providing the opportunity.
Yes, Singers, please go ahead.
Yeah, you can see the presentation, sir?
Yeah, we can see. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, our presentation basically will be covering 3 main parts. One is that about BML, and second part will be the first positive indication list, critical process and evaluation of 10 items from the 351 items list, and the third will be major LRUs or sub-aggregates of ARB. So basically, BEML, it's a mini Ratna company under Ministry of Defense, Government of India. We got incorporated in 1964, May. We have mainly 3 business verticals: defense and aerospace, rail and metro, mining and construction.
No, your slides are not.
Please go ahead.
One second, sir. The slides is not moving. We are just checking it. The slides are moving. Escape one.
Let it not be in the presentation mode. Let it be in this one slide. Don't go on the slide show. Let us see that whether it is working or not.
Yeah, please give escape. Mode.
It's not moving. Slides are not moving.
Yeah, next slide.
Okay, fine. Okay, in 1964, BML.
Yeah, you can go fast on these slides. So because just time is there, you can come to slides. Yes.
Yeah, basically key points I'm going to touch. 1964, we started with rail coaches. We moved on to earth moving equipments in 1967, and we entered into defense area, that is high mobility vehicles, in 86. And major 2003, in 2000 we entered into ARVs, and subsequently to metro cars in 2003. And in 2019, BML designed India's biggest mining equipment, that is BE205E and BE1800E, that is the dumper and excavator. So we are having 4 manufacturing complexes, that is from Bangalore, Mysore, KGF, and Palkad. We have regional offices and marketing offices all over India to service our equipment. So this is a glimpse of the manufacturing complexes which we are having. In KGF complex, we have 2 main divisions, that is earth moving division and the hydraulic and power line division. We make dozer assemblies, and we have a heavy equipment shop in test track in earth moving division. In hydraulic and power line, we manufacture the hydraulic cylinders and other items. In Mysore complex, we manufacture mainly mining equipments like dumpers, water sprinklers, and graders. And we have an engine unit in Mysore to cater to the mining and construction equipments, as well as engines to the HMVs, that is for the defense trucks. Palkad is basically dedicated to the assembly of Tatra trucks, the HMV high mobility vehicle. In Bangalore complex, we manufacture metro cars. The metro cars which is running in Bangalore, Delhi, Jaipur, Calcutta, and presently we are supplying to Mumbai Metro also. So this is our major equipment range. Dozers, we have manufactured ranges from 90 to 800 HP engine. Dump trucks from 35 ton to 190 ton. Excavators from 7.5 to 180 ton excavators we manufacture. Recently, we launched 1800E excavator. Wheel loaders from 1.7 to 4.7 meter cube. Motor graders from 125 to 280 HP engine capacity. Pipe layers from 41 to 100 ton. Water sprinklers from 28,000 to 70,000 liter capacity. And rope shovels, 10 cubic meter and 20 cubic meter. Recently, we got an order for 20 cubic meter rope shovel from Coal India. So regarding metro, we have recently supplied driverless metro to Mumbai Metro and other metros to Calcutta, Bangalore, and majority of the metros we supply to Delhi metros also. We manufacture other products related to metro, that is rail coaches, diesel electrical multiple unit, stainless steel EMUs, and maintenance vehicles. So this is related to the defense product. We make high mobility vehicles of different drives, like 4-wheel drive, 6x6, 8x8, and 12x12. This 12x12 basically is used for BrahMos. We have missile launchers, Pinaka, Akash, Prithvi, and BrahMos. We have bridge systems like Panthan Bridge and Sarvatra system. We make Swati and Rohini radar systems. We supply the trucks for that. And other applications include command post vehicle, mountain gun system, heavy recovery vehicle, and ammunition handling. This is a tracked equipment of defense, ERV, ARRV, mine flow, and the surface mine clearing system. We also manufacture tank aggregates like BMP2 transmission, BMP final drive, T72 transmission, track adjuster, ejector and air cleaner, and T72 hull. Basically at KGF complex. So till date, these are the major accomplishments from BEML. We have supplied around 8,500 BEML high mobility vehicles, ARVs, trailers, military wagons, and pontoon bridge system to defense, to Ministry of Defense. And we supplied around 1750 metro cars. And from the beginning, we are manufacturing and supplying rail coaches and EMUs. In mining and construction equipment, we have 32,500 mining and construction equipments of different like dumpers, dozers, excavators, water sprinklers, and many others. And we manufacture engines related to the mining and construction equipments. Of course, major we are doing exports in all the business verticals, major being from the mining and construction equipment, that is, we are supplied to 69 countries. So this is our BEML global market. We have exported our 1,200 equipment to 69 countries. Defense products exported to Israel, Suriname, Honduras, and Bhutan. Railway products exported to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and mining and construction to many countries across the globe. Of course, we have a strong R&D. Major thrust is the Indigenization, that Atmanirbhar, to become Atmanirbhar, we have continuously increasing the Indigenization level of our equipments. In the mining and construction equipments, most of the equipments Indigenization level is more than 90%. In the defense high mobility truck, our Indigenization content is 84%. In metro cars, it is over 60%. So, as a part of Atmanirbhar, we have indigenously designed and developed products, many equipments like 190-ton and 150-ton dump truck recently, 180-ton hydraulic or electrical excavator, 117 horsepower heli-portable dozers, the medium bulletproof vehicle Gaur, unmanned train operations, that is driverless metro rolling stock. And recently we also launched mechanical minefield marking equipment. This is recently developed from our R&D equipment. Of course, as I've been telling from the beginning, our main thrust is for indigenization. We have been monitoring this indigenization levels through Stringent portal for the last 2 years. We have uploaded more than 1,600 items in Stringent portal. From last 2 years, we have supplied, we have placed development orders of 430 items. 230 items has been indigenized, and all the details are available in the Stringent portal. So in the first positive indigenization list of 351 items, BEML has 10 items out of 351 items. Out of these 10 items, most of the items are indigenized, and one item, the steering wheel, is under evaluation. Second positive, we have 12 subsystems of ARV in the second positive list, 107 items. These details will be explained by my colleague Mr. Shivkumarappa in the coming slides. So these are the 12 items, that is thermopress floor plates, intermediate gearbox with pumps, suspension of support wheel or torsion shaft, pneumatic systems, night vision device, NBC filtration system, rope payout unit, assembly of auxiliary winch, main winch reducer, main winch hydraulic system, crane TD50. So now I will touch upon the first 10 items of the 351 items list from BEML. So we have plate. This is with having the external gear. Its application is from the rear brake assembly for the brake application. The plate material hardness and all is mentioned. It's available in the Stringent portal also. It is used in oil cooled or wet multiples. Basically, these items work in harsh mining environment. It is is very important for effective braking system. It is a critical item of brakes. So the main quality point is the flatness and parallelism are critical to this item. This is also another item for brake application in rear axle assembly. The material is SCU 4140. The dimensions are given, the outer dia and the inner dia. It is also, as I mentioned, it is used in a rear brake application of dampers. It is oil cooled weld multiple. It is used in harsh mining environment, and it is very essential or critical item. Here also the flatness and parallelism are critical to quality. The paper friction material is bonded to the carbon steel plate. It is a induction. These are induction hardened to prevent wear. It is from the testing and evaluation point of view. It is tested in our R&D Power lab, as well as it is also tested on the equipment, which has to meet our ISO requirements. The floating seal assembly, it's a form of mechanical seals. It is used in rear brake application of a dumper axle. It is a rotating body. It is exposed to silt and sand. Related to quality matters, the surface finish, the circularity and taper angle is very important from the quality point of view. So testing methods and details are available in Citizen portal, as well as any supplier who wants to approach us, details will be shared with them. This is most of the items what I am covering is already indigenized. This is a 9-arc nut. It is used in the hydraulic cylinder assemblies to lock the piston in the piston rod. Of course, this has been recently indigenized. It's a polymer insert Locknut. Steering wheel, these for HMV, high mobility vehicle. The diameter of the wheel is 500 mm. It's a construction of wheel. It's a steel rod twisted to diameter of 500 mm. With 2 arms welded to hardened tooth brush for the engagement of coupling to the steering column. This is very important. That is, engagement is very important. Engagement of coupling. So we have bought various testing and evaluation process for this. These steering wheel rods are molded into the polyurethane material. So gas spring assembly, this is basically required for the metro interior paneling. It is for the smooth operation, opening and closing of the covering panels. It is used in metro cars. Testing and evaluation process, it should be a seal leakage test, endurance test for 5 lakh operating cycle, and solid state test. Basically, it is for comfortable opening and closing during maintenance of the activity of the equipments of metro cars. And this is one electrical item, circuit breaker. Having an operating voltage, it is used for our mining equipment. Operating voltage is 18 to 32 volts. 5 amps is the current rating. Operating temperature is from 40 to 85 degrees centigrade. So basically, this is all about the first positive indigenization list. Now I request Mr. Shiv Kumarappa, who will be explaining about the LRUs, major subsystems of armored recovery vehicle.
Next. Good morning, sir. This is Shiv Kumarappa, DGM R&D from BML KGF. I will be speaking on the LRUs pertaining to ARV. BML has supplied 354 numbers of ARV to the Indian Army till date, and BML has received an order of 204 numbers of ARV, and 116 is under pipeline. BML has received an order for overhauling of 2 numbers, on which 1 number has been completed and 1 number is under progress, and another 350 numbers has to be overhauled. Approximately 600 to 650 numbers of ARVs has to be developed as well as overhauled. All this requires LRUs for that. Next. First item is the intermediate gearbox. It is coupled to a pump. It is coupled to a 780 HP engine and is basically a gearbox with one input and multiple output. It is used to transmit the engine crankshaft torque of 3100 plus minus 100 Newton meters to the gearbox of LH and RH for the movement of the tank, to the main winch, drive, and to the hydraulic pumps, starting generator, fan drive, as well as air compressor and the drive of the drain pump. It has a critical process in developing of a casing through casting of steel, carbon steel casting of 230-450W carbon steel as per IS 1030, which is a single piece construction and a bit complicated in nature. Next. Sir, the next item is thermopress plates. There are 5 types of thermopress plates are used in the formation of integral floor of the plate assembly of ARV. The material used is here the spade armor of 20 mm thick as per the standard JSS 9515. The critical process involved is heating and pressing using die, quenching and tempering, conduction of hardness and fracture test, profile cutting and straightening, and it requires 1010 press with a closely installed heating furnace, die for each plates for pressing operation. Testing, ballistic test has to be carried out. Next. Next is the torsion bar. These torsion bar are used in the suspension systems of ARV. It has six sets is used in one, and 6 set means 12 numbers per equipment. The overall length is 2310 mm, shank dia of 47 mm, spline dia is 62 and 67 mm, and number of splines are 48 and 52. The material used is the GO standard 4543-71. The critical process involved is forging, machining, spline rolling, burnishing, and rubberizing. Test and evaluation process. It has an endurance test cycle of 1 lakh cycles with a twist angle of 180 degree. Next. Next is the main winch. Main winch is used in the recovery operation of ARV. This is basically a mechanical type, drum type of winch driven mechanically with a single line pull of 28 tons with a rope length of 200 meters. And with the pulley block of 2:1 and 3:1, it can be enhanced to 84 tons. The functional, all these main winches has to be functionally bench tested to carried out by the vendor before the fitment of it on the vehicle. Rope to be tested for the operating forces and the braking forces. Next. So next is the winch reducer gearbox. Winch reducer facilitates the increasing of torque and reducing of shaft speed for driving the main winch. It is a spurs planetary reducing gearbox type. It has 5 stages, 7-path direction control valve for clutches engagement. It has direction control valve. The direction control valve is mechanically actuated for 2 forward and 1 reverse gear speed. Next. Next is the auxiliary winch, is mainly used for laying the main winch rope and recovering the small loads up to 2 tons. It's a drum type hydraulically operated winch for a maximum pull of 2 tons with a rope length of 400 meters. It is manually operated. The direction flow valve. Next. It's a road feeder mechanism. The basic function of road feeder mechanism is to maintain the tightness of the main winch rope while rope winding and unwinding. It is hydraulically operated with 2 parted worm spur gear driving the feeder roll mechanism in opposite direction. Next. It's a hydraulic. Next is the crane. It's a hydraulic crane with telescope and used for lifting a maximum load of 15 ton at a standoff distance of 5.8 meters. That is 87 ton per meter with a jib length, maximum length of 8 meters and a swiveling angle of 360 degree with an elevation angle of 42 to 70 degree. Next. Hydraulic system in the ARV is used to power the hydraulic crane, auxiliary winch, anchor cum dozer, main winch reducer, and the system pressure is 200 bars with a maximum flow of 100 lpm. It has four sets of gear type of pump with a hydraulic tank of 280 liters. Emergency power unit with electrical DC motor is used for emergency purpose. Next. So vision system is same as T72. It has commander sight and driver sight. Commander sight is a combined day and night electro-optical binocular prismatic type with temperature regulation, whereas driver's device is passive binocular and temperature regulation. Next. So this is the NBC system used on T72 as well as BMP type. Next. Next and last is the pneumatic system installed on ARV. Have the following functions: starting engine by the compressed air, assisting the brake system, driving the blower, and feeding the system GO227. ARV uses air piston type 3-stage 2-cylinder air-cooled type of compressor with a maximum of 15 bar pressure and an output of 2.4 meter cubes per hour. All this system will be tested as per the specified ATP, and the endurance test will be carried out before fitment of the equipment. Thank you, sir.
Till this time, we have heard from the officers of the Avnl and DBML production units and the plan of their indigenization for the various LRUs. Now we are coming towards the closure, but before that, we have some questions from our industry partners. So some of them can be answered. So now we can take up the question from Mr. Dilip. This is regarding liability of patent violation. If Mr. Dilip is here, he can speak regarding his question.
So good afternoon, everyone. This is Dilip. The query is that while we are trying to engineer certain solutions which are or products which are as per the requirement, we are not quite sure if there are patents or intellectual property rights that are behind these so-called products, which may unknowingly get violated. So when we get into a contract, how does this get managed in terms of the liability because we definitely don't have the patents or the IPs for such products, and there can be a possibility of a violation of such a patent. So my query was, is there any clarity on any framework as to how this can be addressed?
Now I will request Director Sri Sanjay Dwivedi sir to address his queries.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip. The point is that all the items which we are talking about indigenization are those items where we already hold the transfer of technology. So since we are the TOT recipient, we hold the TOT and we are going to make use of all these items for manufacture of the equipment which will be used by Indian Army primarily. So as far as for the use of Indian Army it is concerned, there is no violation of IPR and patent. There is no such requirement. When we take up for any export, which will be through Avnl for the items which will be manufactured by any other private vendor, we will appropriately take up with the TOT provider, that is in our case it is Russia. We will appropriately take up for giving us authority for taking up for export. But let me again repeat, for development of the items in-house or by the private vendors, and for consumption of the items in India, there is no IPR violation because we are having the license as well as transfer of technology.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Now I take the second question query from Sri Bhaskar. Mr. Bhaskar is here.
Namaste, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. This is first and foremost to all the people in this conference, extremely valuable, and we are delighted to be part of this webinar. Very, very valuable. We are very keen to contribute. By the way, I'm already a registered vendor with EFA. I'm keen to expand it to Avnl to the large. I have a R&D lab located inside IIT Madras, where I get to use many of their mechanical, electrical, electronics, computer science, all the departments, lab equipments, one of the best lab equipments in the world, I would say. So I have a huge amount of capability to design, build prototypes, prove prototypes, and maybe develop the product that what you are looking for, at least quite a few of them. I'm a startup. So I already see in some of the products you have already gone some way through by collaborating with one or two agencies. So will it be possible for you to guide us as to what are the few products on which I can focus on so that I bring my capability to solve some of your problems? Who is the person whom I need to get into for a face-to-face meeting and progress on this?
Mr. Bhaskar, thank you for your question. On this point, I would like to mention that actually this particular webinar was focused on indigenization of LRUs. That is why we did not discuss in detail about the product which is to be taken up for development jointly with the industry. But I did make a mention in the initial part of my address that we are now taking up development of new products in a big way, and that is going to be the future.
Okay.
We are not going to restrict ourselves only to with manufacturing of the products which are being presently manufactured under TOT and license, and that is why we are looking for industry partners for development of new products as well. And for that, we invite you. You can visit the concerned units. We have just given introduction of capabilities of our units of Avnl as well as BEML, and you can visit them, you can go to them and talk to the concerned persons, concerned officers. That is why we displayed names of the officers also who are basically responsible for interaction and bringing out all those details for you. So you can get in touch with them. And in case if you find any difficulty in approaching anyone, you are welcome to approach us. You can anytime come to us to Avnl at our headquarters. We are located at Chennai, and we will definitely try to take up all your requests, suggestions to see that in what way we can move forward and build up and bring out new platforms for our defense services.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now we can take up the question from Sri Dushyant Deshpande.
Yeah, good morning, sir. This is Mr. Dushyant Deshpande from D&D Enterprises, Nagpur. We would like to know the C-test availability, C-test facility available, where it is, where we can use to test our sub-assemblies in case it is required, sir.
Okay, I will respond to that point. Actually, for all the products which are being manufactured, which we are bringing out on a citizen portal for indigenization, basically we have limited test facilities which are available at our manufacturing facilities at either Avadi or Medak, and whatever facilities are available with us, you can definitely make use of those facilities. It is open for you. And besides that, there are certain facilities which are not there with us, like the Class C tests, which are environmental tests, which are required to be done before, or EMI, EMC tests, which are required to be done before proving out the systems. So those facilities, wherever it is available, basically with the DGQA, can also be utilized by you by approaching them directly. And moreover, the most important point is that whatever systems are developed for the products, for the platforms which are in use presently by us, we will be carrying out all the running trials, all the testing on the vehicle, and that is on us. You have to provide us with the complete system which will be developed by you, and we will be taking up testing on or running trial of the component of the item on the vehicle at our facilities.
Thank you.
Sir, if I want to add to Dushyant, what
Yeah.
you're talking of C test, firstly, go through the specification. Generally, it depends upon whether it is to be done at component level or assembly level. Generally,
Yes,
it is a salt spray test or the environmental test that has to be done. Within India, we have facilities, and depending on the specification you want to check, you have to check with that, and with the agency with whom you are developing your system, they can guide you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, may I add one thing, sir, in this one?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dushyant Deshpande and to others also, what Director of Operation has said and GM HVF has said, it is rightly said that the hand holding will be done by HVF and other units also. But for the prototype or for initial some quantity, but at later stage or sooner stage, you have to develop the test facilities at your end, which is mandatorily required, except
Yes,
environmental testing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
State questions towards BML. So now I request Sri S. Mahajan. Sri Mahajan.
Good morning, sir. This is Mahajan.
Officers of BML, please.
Is it audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
Actually, as BML slides, we have seen they are importing some thermopressing plates. So we have the full-fledged facility with the press of 12,000 ton, which we have installed one year back, and we are already in line with the HVF also, and they already visited and seen all our press and reheating furnaces and other facilities. So my question is how we can proceed with the BML for development of these thermopressing plates.
Yeah, Mr. Magajan, this is Shekhar speaking. So
Yes,
definitely you are very much welcome that. So you can visit our KGF. So KGF R&D on Mr. I think contact address is going to be Shivkumarappa. So you can keep in touch with him. So is a season portal also. So we are very much open, and our team also will come and visit your facility, and to understand that we'll have 1:1 interaction, and we can discuss on how to take it forward. So we are very much open to discuss with you.
Sir, this is the first time in India, this big press, 12,000 ton press, which we have put in our plant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how we can you give me some detail of that person?
Yeah. So you can send the message to your coordinator, no? So in the your message list, so that we can take it.
Okay, thank you.
So Mr. Shivkumarappa.
Okay, thank you.
Shivkumarappa.
Sir, we'll contact him, sir.
Yes.
Now, second question we can take from Sri Nitesh Goyal to BML.
Good morning, sir. I am Nitesh Goyal from India Optel Limited, Dehradun. My question is for BEML. Sir, we deal in the manufacturing of electronic side. We need the detail of this night vision sight assembly. In case
No, Nitesh, your voice is not clear.
Hello, now I'm clear, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Nitesh Goyal from India Optel Limited, Dehradun.
Okay, sir.
So we deal in the manufacturing of electro-optical sights for the tanks. So in the second positive indigenization list, we need the detail of the night vision assembly PNK 72.
Okay, sir.
So to whom we contact actually? Now we have written the email also in this regard.
Have you participated in the EOI? So we already
No,
published
I
the
have,
EOI.
no. We have not participated. We have not got any details. So if you can give the contact number, we can contact to them.
Yeah, you can write. You can write to me itself. Okay, I can in fact instead of talking to Mr. Jokumar, in fact, I will direct it. You can note down my email ID. So I'm Shekhar, Chief of R&D. My email ID is simple. So it's g@gamal.co.in. You can write a mail to me so that I can keep in touch with you. I will connect with the concerned people.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We are seeing a lot of other questions also. This is encouraging a response, but since the time is limited, so I request all the questions can be raised directly from the officers of the production units of or you can directly approach to corporate office as well to address the queries. We are ready to resolve any query in this regard. So now I request Sri Atul Khare to give his concluding remark and vote of thanks. He is a joint GM from Heavy Vehicle Factory.
Sir, good afternoon.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question with Mr. Sanjay Dwivedi. Actually, I am calling from, my industry name is ASK Automotive. We are working in 3 verticals. Number, we are in the friction material. Next, we are in safety control cables and the high pressure die castings. We have a huge setup for the high pressure die casting. And we would like to work as an industrial partner with the Avnl. So, Mr. Dwivedi, can you share your contact number so that we can discuss later on this topic?
Okay. I think we'll put it in the chat box. Actually, to clarify to this point about requirement of high pressure castings, we have a requirement to a certain extent. We have some indigenous sources, but we would like to definitely develop more sources so that we can meet the increased, enhanced requirement of all the items what we are manufacturing, particularly say the castings for the engine or any other component which is used in the tank. So we will. I will give the email ID in the chat box. You can then get in touch with me as well as the concerned officers whose names were indicated in the presentation of Heavy Vehicle Factory Avadi. So you can get in touch with either them or you can get in touch with us here, and we will respond to all your queries, whatever points you have. Actually, we would like to take some more questions, but since we have already overshot the time limit, that is why we are restricting ourselves, and we have not taken more questions on this. That is the point.
It's okay, sir.
Now, Sri Atul.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon to all. It is almost going to be good afternoon. It is 1 minute left out. It is the opportunity which has been given to me to convey the last part of the webinar, which is not the last. Actually, it is the beginning of that interaction between the industry partners and the HVF, Avnl, and BML, and other order factories of, that means erstwhile order factories of Avnl, like OF Medak, Vehicle Factory, MTPF, and other units of erstwhile OFB. At the outset, I am thankful to Department of Indigenization under DDP and Ministry of Defense, who had made such a wonderful platform where the industry partner and the units of the DPSUs are interacting each other and understanding what is happening into the world. There are many speakers and many things have been told about the indigenization activity. I will go one by one, and I will convey thanks to all the speakers. First of all, I sincerely convey my thanks to, on behalf of Avnl and BML, I sincerely convey my sincere thanks to Mr. Anurag Bajpayee JSDIP, who given an insight and summarized that the target is of 1,75,000 crores is the value of issue in terms of negating value of the import as well as the exporting it. This can be done through indigenization. Not alone indigenization, it has to be done through innovation also. Therefore, it is very clear that where the deficiencies are there in the document and the TOTs, the Indian partners are welcome to do the innovations and set right as per the technical specification which our platforms need. I thank you very much, sir. You have given an opportunity for all of us to think in that direction. And I hope that ministry, along with the QA departments of the different agencies like DGQA and other agencies, will cooperate with DPSUs as well as the Indian partners to achieve this goal. I thank my sincere thanks to Director Operations, Mr. Sanjay Dwivedi, who has given a brief description of Avnl units who are involved in armored fighting vehicle manufacture and B vehicles also. B vehicles include definitely mine-proof vehicle also is there, and Stallion and Ashok Leyland LPTA is also there, where we are doing it. And it has been assured by Avnl that Avnl will give all cooperation and contribution towards the target set by MOD, Government of India. It has been told also that without hand-holding to the Indian partners, we cannot do that one, and which rightly has been told by Director Operation that we are here. And CMD BML has told that we are here to handhold all the Indian partners, and we will provide all the test facilities in the beginning to establish your product. We are here to liaise with different outside agencies like DGQA to get it approved, the alternate material or the other actions which we have to take for the design change through alteration committee. There is a one means there where we can change the design also. Thank you very much, sir. I thanks Mr. Shri V. Shekhar, CMD BML, who has told about the various platforms which is available. He has rightly pointed out that vendors has to select a correct component or assembly for their core competencies. They should not end up or land up in some of the components which is beyond their control. So it is very right to select the components and assembly so that you can also win and I can also win and we can also win. Is it not that you are winning, it is a group winning, is it a team winning? I thank thank you very much, sir. I thank Mr. Bhola, Shri Sanjeev Bhola. He is GM HVF. He has told clearly about that whatever the activities. I thanks to HVF, OF Medak both together, Mr. Anurag Sharma as well as Mr. Shri Sanjeev Bhola, because both of them has given an insight and in-depth knowledge of the whatever the items which we are importing, what is the quantum of that import we are doing it, and what are the actions we are in the it is in the pipeline. One more thing which I want to point it out that it is not the end. That means if we have floated or we have opened the EOIs or we have floated that we have closed the EOI, it doesn't mean that the development is stopped. You are welcome to approach us. We will tell you and we will give an opportunity to develop your product also. Then it has been told that what are the methods are available, and it is the vendors have to come. They are welcome over here in HVF, AVNL, OF Medak, Vehicle Factory, anywhere. They can approach any of the officers and get that information how to do the development and excel together. It is not the Avnl alone. It is the all DPSUs which are formed by the erstwhile, which has been told that 5 production DPSUs have been formed. Then many more BML has told that they have told that their chronology about their existence from the beginning to the till end and till the time what they are doing it. It is very diverse because their business is from the earth movers to the commercial, to the passenger civil, as well as to the defense vehicles. And it has been delivered by Mr. T. N. Srinivasan and Mr. Shivkumar. I am thankful both of you because you have given insight and you are quite diversity in your product. I thanks to the Indian partners. I would like to say that if we are here, it is because of the Indian partner. And we need your support. And Indian partners are available with us. We definitely will excel towards the goal which has been set and more than that. I appreciate that the point has been raised by Mr. Dilip and Mr. Bhaskar, then queried by Mr. Nitish Goel and other speaker also regarding that IPR patent issues. Definitely, wherever the developments are there, patent issues will be there, which has rightly been answered and clarified by Director Operations. I hope that this meeting, this platform, has given an impetus and the insight to all the vendors and to give a knowledge that what are we doing. It is required to understand we are not dealing with the commercial product. We are dealing with the product which is fighting vehicles, which is required for the field in Indian Army, where the 3 crew members are there whose life are at the stake. So quality is at the par, which has been rightly told by Mr. Anurag Bajpayee in the beginning, quality of the international standard we have to maintain. In the beginning, Mr. Anurag Bajpayee has shown that expressed that the participation is not at par with the compare, but when we have seen that the participation was overwhelming response has been received. It is 150 plus people have reported into this one. And really, it is a good sign that people are really interested to have a partnership with DPSUs. Not the last, but not the least is that the people who are behind the organizing this webinar are not on the front floor. So I convey my sincere thanks to the people who organized this webinar. Thank you once again to all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Close the line.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Now everyone can disconnect it.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you very much. Good presentation, good webinar, sir. It's very informative as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
I apologize to convey my thanks to Sri Rajesh Kumar